The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
The Palm Beaches are over 8,000 miles from Kenya, Africa. But yet here in Western Palm Beach County, scientists are trying to save an incredible species from extinction and return it to its ancestral home. On this episode, we'll visit a place that is trying to save this iconic and endangered animal right here in the Wild Palm Beaches.
Ecotourism is big business in Palm Beach County. From lions to loggerheads, our resident wildlife population is one of the things that makes the Palm Beaches a special place to visit. Aquatic adventures let you see our majestic sea turtles and tropical fish in living color, while our zoos, wildlife parks and natural areas give you an up-close look at everything from rhinos to alligators. It is here that nature is on full display. It's like nowhere else in the world.
Now you might ask yourself, what is a bongo? Stick with us and you'll find out. The story of the once abundant bongo is a troubled one. The range they used to call their home has largely disappeared, leaving less than 100 animals in the wild today. There are currently two recognized subspecies of bongo, the mountain or eastern bongo and the lowland or western bongo. This antelope is the largest, heaviest and most colorful African forest antelope. Females are usually more brightly colored than males. Both males and females have spiraled lyre-shaped horns. The large ears are believed to sharpen hearing. In 1994, mountain bongos were thought to be on the brink of extinction. But over 2 decades ago, an idealistic young American named Paul Rilo set out on a mission to save the bongo right here in the Wild Palm Beaches.
We're talking to Kathita, and Kathita is an ambassador for the mountain bongo. She's almost a year old, she's 10 months old, and she's a calf that had a rocky start. She had a very, very old mom who unfortunately died very suddenly a few days after her birth. And so this cute little baby needed a surrogate mom. So our team stepped in and we bottle raised her, and she's done very well. She's quite sweet. But her name is actually important because she's named after the Kathita River, which flows from Mount Kenya to the village of Meru on the northeast slopes of Mount Kenya. So her brothers and sisters are going to be returning to the very same region that she's named after.
As space for nature disappears, the need for captive management strategies targeting critically endangered species grows. The Rare Species Conservatory Foundation's facility in the Palm Beaches operates as a living laboratory, allowing the development of reproductive husbandry, management and long-term conservation programs.
My name is Charlene Ngwanyi. I am a wildlife veterinarian from Kenya. I'm currently working with the BONGO project to be able to increase the number of bongos that we have in our country, in their historical ranges especially, and just to make sure that they have thriving populations there as well. So it's nice that we're able to learn from such foundations and conservation organizations, and in that way we're able to take that back home and work on our own populations. It's very important for the country, for the community members, because Kenya of course notices that our wildlife are our heritage, and they have a very important economical and social and cultural value to our country. RSCF is definitely a model foundation that has been supporting and propagating the populations of bongos in Florida for over 30 years, and I'm sure I speak for not just myself but the bongos too. And a lot of wildlife conservationists and wildlife lovers across both Kenya and here and across the world, that they are doing an immaculate job with the species, and to see how great the body condition of these animals are, the environment that they're thriving in. We're just truly grateful for all the work that Paul does and the rest of the RSCF team, all the animal carers, every attention that they're giving to this species. We are all truly grateful for their beautiful work. She's like, I'm done, go away.
James, you ready to see some Florida bongo?
Definitely, let's do it.
Let's do it. We got a couple of bulls sparring over here over some females. They're still at it.
We're still at it. Oh, look at them here.
They're going to go at it again. Watch this. Oh, wow. Check them, dude. Let's go get this. Watch out.
How's that for an introduction to the mountain bongo? Its docile and peaceful demeanor.
That was insane. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in Africa on safari, and that's the kind of thing you expect once in a while witnessing from a safari vehicle, and here we are right out west in the Palm Beaches, and it's right next to us on a 4x4. It's crazy.
The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
The largest and most endangered forest antelope, the mountain bongo, is a famously rare, shy and beautiful flagship species for Kenya's high mountain forests. And here in the Wild Palm Beaches, the Rare Species Conservatory Foundation continues to help in saving this emblematic species. So Paul, this is an amazing habitat for these mountain bongos. Tell us a little bit about the project that you're doing here with them.
This is an example of what we exist to do, which is recover critically endangered species by figuring out first how to preserve them in the wild, but then to supplement that effort with captive breeding and reintroduction. So what you're looking at is 30 years of effort to bring the mountain bongo to a point of sustainability where we have enough animals to repatriate back to Kenya and ultimately to rewild them back to the forests of Kenya. This is one family group, and it's really an astounding experience as we've just seen, because these guys all know each other, right? These are animals that are very intelligent, they're very sentient, they're very social. They have complex relationships, some friendly, some not so friendly, but the point is they function as a family unit. And that's the key to putting these species back, because once you lose that fabric of sociality, it makes it very difficult to recover species. They just don't know how to act as animals anymore. And this isn't a zoo. We're in a semi-natural habitat. Yes, we are enclosed, but these guys, as we've seen, are allowed to behave just as wild bongo do. The mountain bongo's story is a long and rather depressing one, because we have this spectacular antelope. It's charismatic, it's a flagship for Kenya's high mountain forests. And over the last century, what we've seen is that forest has been degraded. In some cases, it's not been protected sufficiently. And these iconic species like mountain bongo and black rhinoceros, which used to occupy the high mountain forests of Mount Kenya and the Aberdares, have disappeared. And even as that has happened, we've seen that captive breeding can offer a solution. But a lot of that has not worked as well as we'd like either, because these animals have been exploited for collections and for zoos and for exhibit, rather than looking at the potential of putting them back. So what we're doing is we're really integrating what we can learn from them and using that information to reintegrate them back into the ecosystem where they belong. Florida is simply a tool to make sure that that happens. And our challenge with our Kenyan partners, namely the Kenya government, the county government, and local NGOs, and community forest associations and local people, is to make sure that when this recovery effort happens, it isn't just a one-time thing. It's a process that becomes part of everyday life. It becomes part of the way you think about your wildlife and your native animals and your pride of Kenya. So it's a tremendous privilege to be a part of that and to be ambassadors for a program, just as these animals are ambassadors for their species. It's just an amazing opportunity, and it might be our last best chance to do this. I think we're on the right track. We've gotten this incredibly rare animal to the point where we've got nearly exponential growth. And if that can be replicated in Kenya, then you've got an engine to drive the recovery process, because first, it's numerical. You can't save an animal if you don't have it. And then secondly, you can manage that resource, repopulate areas where it's disappeared, figure out ways to enhance the genetic diversity by mixing in animals from other populations and so forth. But first and foremost, we've got to have them. We've got to have the numbers. What's tragic to me is that as the world becomes more occupied by people, we are partitioning and fracturing habitat so that animals are occupying less and less space. And when that happens, it makes it more difficult for gene flow and population flow to occur, and the end result is that animals go through bottlenecks and they go through localized extinctions. And our goal here today is to make sure that we don't lose this animal. There's no reason for us to lose this animal. My goodness, we can culture them, we can nurture them, we can give them safe spaces, and on the other side, the most important side, we can build the capacity for Kenya to preserve its wildlife indefinitely. And that's just a powerful, powerful message for the species and for the whole ecosystem. Although our facility in Palm Beach County is not open to the public, we rely heavily on public support and we value your interest. Please look us up at www.rarespecies.org and visit the Tropical Conservation Institute at FIU at tci.fiu.edu.
The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
The great thing about this program is that the sanctuary to breed and reestablish bongo on Mount Kenya is doing the same for black rhino. So we're checking two boxes, two famously rare animals, very, very important for national identity and pride, but also representing what conservation can do, bringing these guys back from the brink. 30 years ago, we feared that this creature was extinct in the wild. We don't profess to be experts. We don't profess to have all the answers. Far, far, far from it. But what we're seeing is something that is possible. And if this is possible, then it is certainly encouraging that Kenya can enjoy this kind of success. It's a sobering reality, right? I mean, we're at the very cusp of losing species which you and I grew up thinking would always be here. And now we have a generation of human beings on this planet who will likely witness the disappearance of these important animals. They're important not only because of the intrinsic value they bring to life on Earth, but because they represent what we've done as a species, the impacts we've had on the planet. Recognizing that much of what is happening in nature, it's not just happening on our watch, but it's happening because of us. And to the extent that we're here, we must do everything we can to undo the harm and to give these species a chance. To their credit, many species just need a little help. We don't have to have them on life support indefinitely. They don't have to be propped up with artificial means. These animals clearly want to reproduce, and given the opportunity, they proliferate. And they've gone through terrible bottlenecks. We may only have a handful of unrelated genes comprising all the bongo in captivity. And yet, some 15 or 20 bongo generations from the wild, we see this. That offers hope. But my take-home message from a lifetime of doing this is that we'll never be able to do enough. It's far bigger than each of us. It's not about us, it's about the biodiversity and the species we hope to save, and that we can all play a role in this. We're here. Each of us alive on this planet is here to bear witness to this. And that should be compelling enough, right? To do something, step up, do something. Help in any way you can. If you're a big organization, think of ways of doing the big things while we still have time. The little things are great, and yes, every little bit matters, but these are the big things. And we may not have a lot of time left to do the big things.
The Wild Palm Beaches is brought to you by Discover the Palm Beaches.
Hey everybody, I'm Benji Studt with Palm Beach County's Environmental Resources Management. I'm here with Kylie Ariotti.
Hey guys.
From PBC as well, and we're here today at Jupiter's Sawfish Park, and I'm really excited today. We are exploring the newest restoration project here in the Loxahatchee River Aquatic Preserve. This is an aquatic preserve, meaning it's a really special place, but like, Kylie, what makes this place so special?
So not only do we have the freshwater input from the Loxahatchee River, but we're right here with Jupiter Inlet with that Gulf Stream, making this a wonderful, thriving estuary. This habitat here is actually super vital for juvenile green sea turtles, as well as the fact that you can find so many different access points to be able to paddle this estuary. So it's super accessible to almost anyone in the county or people coming in to visit here as well.
Right, and so today we're going to be exploring some of those paddle opportunities, right? Because with all the boat traffic, sometimes it's tough for paddlers, but this is really a paddler's paradise. You think we got a shot at seeing some sea turtles?
Oh, I think so. At Sawfish Bay, for sure.
All right, well, let's get the boards in the water.
Okay.
All right. All right, so Kylie, we are out here at the Palm Beach's newest restoration project here in the Loxahatchee River Estuary, Sawfish Island Restoration Project. And it's so exciting to be out here at this stage of restoration because we like to say very loudly to people, restoration is messy.
Oh yeah, it is.
But we're already seeing wildlife utilize this area, right?
Yeah, we just saw a snowy egret fly in. We've seen some ospreys flying around. It's absolutely beautiful here already, even in this slightly messy stage of restoration.
Right. So Sawfish is a restoration project. You know, why did it need restoration here?
Yeah, so historically this island was naturally a mangrove island. When we went to go dredge the intercoastal waterway, they have to put that material somewhere. They started piling it up here, brought in some invasive vegetation, started to not look so great and not be that thriving natural habitat that we want to see. So Palm Beach County came in, we started removing some of those invasives, we started lowering the elevation.
So this is very much like many of our restoration projects. We've got seagrass habitat coming back, mangrove habitat coming back. There's 2 lagoons that were created in here from those upland islands, and they're connected by a channel. What's really cool is this is going to be paddle-only access, and that channel that we cut to connect these 2 lagoons is going to turn into a mangrove tunnel. Yeah,
tunnel.
This is going to be one of the premier paddling spots in the Palm Beaches in the years to come. So Kylie, we're going to check out a little bit of Sawfish here, but then we're going to go to Fullerton Island because that's a project we did about a decade ago, and we can see what this habitat is going to become.
I'm excited to check it out.
All right, let's go. So Kylie, we've made it here to Fullerton Island, and this is a restoration project that's just south of Sawfish. So this is why this paddle is so cool now that we've restored Sawfish Island, because you can do both islands in the same paddle. So this restoration has been in the ground for about 10 years. And these mangroves were actually planted at the time we restored them. So we can get a little sneak peek at what Sawfish is going to look like in 10 years right here at Fullerton. Your connection to nature spurred you into a career in science, right? But growing up here in Jupiter, I spent a couple of years growing up here too. It didn't matter if you were pursuing a career in science. It seems like the whole community is connected to the nature here, right?
100%. It's just the culture here in Jupiter is connected to these waterways with the Loxahatchee, with the Jupiter Inlet, with the history that both of those share in this town. It is a tremendous cultural connection between all people to want to help restore, protect, and preserve these areas.
Right, and that's really important because we need everybody, right? And so that's why I'm so excited about these restoration projects, because it makes the wild Palm Beaches accessible to everybody. Like you said, you don't need a fancy boat to access this wild nature right in our backyard. And also visitors, you know? Visitors
People
can come
from
down
all
and they can
over.
understand that the Palm Beaches is not just about the beaches and the golf courses and the amazing food, but it's about this wild place that we're so connected to because we're lucky enough to call it our backyard.
Grew up here and can still be able to live here, and it's an honor, honestly.